Good morning, everybody. Wake up.
Wake up, wake up.
In Provincetown. This week featuring
Wake up, wake up.
Can I have some coffee?
Wake up, wake up.
Make it strong, please. Hey. Ho. Hey.
Wake up, wake up.
Ho. No, really, can I have some coffee?
Wake up, wake up.
Good morning, everybody. It's Friday, March 18th, 2022. It's so nice to be back home.
Yay! How was Palm Springs?
It was great.
Good.
LA was great. Palm Springs was great. I had a really, really marvelous vacation. I went out to the Indian Wells tennis tournament, as you might know, and I have to give a special shout out and thank you to Mike Miller of P Townie. Mike is out volunteering at the tennis tournament, and so he gets tickets to give to people.
Oh, no way.
So thanks to Mike Miller, I got to see some really, really incredible matches this week.
The more people you know, you know.
It helps.
Yeah.
It really doesn't hurt.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Venus Williams wasn't playing because she's still on the awards circuit promoting the movie about her father.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So
No, neither of them?
that'll come up later. No, neither one of them played. And I don't think Serena's going to all of the award shows. Venus has been at all of the award shows.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool.
But her name will come up later in the show. How are you?
I'm great.
How was last week? How's Kristen?
Kristen's always amazing. She's so much fun.
Good.
Yeah.
Thank you again, Kristen Becker, for being here while I was gone last week. What else is new?
Well, we've got a really great show for you today.
We have a lot to...
Yeah, we really do.
Big, big show.
Yep. We have Alex, Sheila, and also Jeff coming in to talk about the new police station project and what's on the town warrant for the town meeting, April 4th. And then we also have John Richardson and also David Drake coming in to talk about John Richardson's new musical that they will doing a song cycle tomorrow night at the Provincetown Theater.
That's what it's called, a song cycle?
Sure, I think I learned that. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Which is kind of just like a review of the show where they just do the music, I think, which is cute.
And David's also going to tell us about the slate at the Provincetown Theater this year. They did such a great job doing the outdoor shows last year. Did you get to go to anything last
No.
year? I did get to go see The Cake. Jen and Eva were in The Cake that David directed. Presumably, they'll be able to do shows inside this year. We're going to find out when David's here later on.
Work. Yeah. But I did manage to get out a little bit for Out of Hibernation last week.
Oh, right. How was it?
It was cute. I went to the Under Bear party on Saturday night at the Paramount. It was very cute, a lot of fun. It was a great crowd, but I think me and the few people I were with were the only kind of townies that were there because you weren't here, but Saturday night was pretty treacherous when it came to the weather.
What happened?
The weather the temperature dipped. It was like a wintry mix, and like everything became like an ice skating rink like that.
Ooh-wee.
Yeah, but I put on some cute underwear and traipsed on down to the Paramount. It was a lot of fun.
You were the only townies, but were there a bunch of like out-of-towners?
Oh yeah, there was tons of people there, but I just like expected to see like people I knew, and there weren't a lot.
That's interesting that the weather would deter the townies, but not the out-of-towners.
I don't think so. I feel like that makes sense. They're here on vacation. They're
were
here
gonna
to
do
go
it
out.
no matter
They're committed. Where for us, it's like we can go out next Saturday.
That's true. What's happening this Saturday? Why don't you tell everybody?
This Saturday at the Crown and Anchor, there is the Mushroom Head, which is a party at the Wave Bar. Let me see if I can figure. It is a psychedelic and sexadelic journey for your mind, body, and soul.
Mushroom Head.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. It's going to be DJ'd by Andrew Haig and also James Cerny, so you know it's going to be a ton of fun.
Andrew, who came up with the name? It was James's idea.
Yeah.
Of course it was.
Yeah, it's going to...
It's because of his penis.
What?
It is a dick joke. Mushroom Head is a dick joke.
Yeah.
It's a little
So you
early
know
for
it's
this,
going to be fun.
but- So you're going to go to that?
Yeah.
I know that you can no longer go out 3 nights a week, so that means
It's not
you're
that I can no
going out
longer, in this moment in my journey.
in this moment in your party and journey of your soul and your whole.
Yeah, I mean, I do all my work 6 months out of the year, and I do all my partying 6 months out of the year. I just like take the winter off from everything.
Hibernation.
Exactly, and I'm yet to be out. I hosted trivia this past Monday at the brewery. It was tons of fun. I think we had 11 teams. It was really killer. Sunny.
Really?
He was great.
What
Yeah.
were Sunny's questions about?
It was kind of last minute because me and Trevor both kind of dropped the ball, but luckily Sunny stepped up to help host, and we used one of my old rounds.
Nice. Thank
but
you,
it was
Sunny.
a lot of fun.
Good. If you're in town right now, you might notice how foggy it is. I mean,
Yeah.
speaking of weather, I drove back from Boston last night from like 1 until 3. It was like the foggiest, scariest 2 hours of my life.
Oh yeah,
Like, you couldn't see anything.
it's kind of like that now.
It is like that now, and it's also a full moon. And also, I'm sorry, but I didn't look to see what time low tide was today. Do you know?
6:30.
6:30 tonight?
Yep.
So low tide, if you are a clammer, you've got a couple of weekends left, and this might be the only one where the timing is right, except for maybe 2 weeks
Is
from
that
now.
right?
Yeah, because if it's clamming this weekend, next weekend the tide is wrong, usually.
But isn't 6:30 the wrong low tide?
Well, no, because now that it's an hour later, the sunset is
Oh, yeah. So
later.
you can get, like,
and
that
you want
last
to go
bit.
out at like an hour before low tide anyhow.
That's true. Speaking of time change, we love it. We love to see it. It's still light out after 7 now, which is a magical thing. And I woke up this morning, and by 6:30, the sun was starting to peek out, and it was starting to get a little brighter. Like you said, very foggy, but it was still great. The Senate unanimously passed, I think it was called the Daylight Protection Act, to make daylight savings time permanent.
Wait. Yeah. Make it permanent?
Yeah.
Always daylight savings.
Oh, wait, that's
Yeah, so we're in daylight savings right now, where the winter is non-daylight savings. So it's basically they're going to add an extra hour of sunlight onto the days in the winter. And
When we need it.
I mean, when we need it. A lot of people are like, but then it won't be dark. It'll be dark until 8:30 in some places, like in the morning.
Oh, right.
And I'm like, okay. I'm like, sounds like
daylight
it's not a me
protection?
problem. Yeah.
Who comes up with these names?
Yeah, and also, like, is that the one thing we can get bipartisan support on?
Yeah.
Like, come on.
Fuck trans kids. Let's protect the daylight.
Oh my God.
Right, Florida?
Oh, jeez.
Are we talking? Is that?
Yeah, that's one of my
think I
things.
saw
Let's
that
talk
in your
about it now. So we've been talking about the Don't Say Gay bill here a lot lately. And some news that happened this week is, so Gabrielle Union, she's an actress, you know her from 1,000 things, but like
Bring It On.
Personally, Bring It On, yeah. But she is in a movie, I think Cheaper by the Dozen it's called. It's another remake of it. And she was on the red carpet for the premiere of that, and she actually kind of talked a little about Disney, and which I think was pretty brave considering that is a Disney production, the Cheaper by the Dozen movie that she's in.
What did she say about Disney?
I have her exact quote. She said, "There are corporations that could really, truly make a difference, take a stand, and not fund discrimination. If you're going to take a stand and be all about diversity and inclusion, and it's not about black boxes after George Floyd, you need to actually put your money where your mouth is. You can't stand against hate and oppression and fund hate and oppression. That doesn't work. Obviously, our family has a big spotlight. My child is one child. There are countless children who deserve peace and the ability to survive and thrive in this world, just like everybody else. And if you think that your kid isn't next, you are sadly mistaken."
Thank you for using your spotlight, Gabrielle.
Well, Gabrielle Union has a lot on the line. She, I think they primarily reside in Florida, in Miami. She's married to Dwayne Wade, the basketball player, and she also has her stepdaughter is trans, and so she has a lot on the line when it comes to this, and like her child is specifically going to be a victim of this legislation. Also, Disney employees are also staging a walkout this Tuesday in their Florida and California locations. The organizers made several demands. They said not just a pause on campaign donations, but an immediate stop to contributions to any of the bill's supporters, including DeSantis, to ceasing investments in Florida until anti-LGBTQ plus legislation is repealed. Reaffirming the company's commitment to protecting and advocating for LGBTQ plus workers, and also making contributions to the Trevor Project, Trans Life, and other activist groups.
That was a statement released by the people who are planning to walk out?
Yeah, there already been like walkouts, and it was like people are walking out during their breaks, and I'm like,
That's organized.
does that do anything? But this coming Tuesday, they're going to do a full day walkout. They've let people know that they won't be. There's no protection for them. Disney can kind of do whatever they want to them. But like I don't know if it's that I only know gay people, but everyone I know who works at Disney parks are gay people, and I don't know if that's because I only know gay people or only gay people work at Disney, or both.
Maybe a little of both.
Yeah. So I think they have a lot on the line for that.
Good, though.
Yeah. yeah, that's that on that.
What else is going on in the world, Harry? Tell me everything that's important that I missed while I was laying by a pool in Palm Springs.
Right. So a lot of people know. A lot of people know that Ellen DeGeneres' show is in its final season. It's in their 19th season. They've won 64 Daytime Emmy Awards, which is impressive. There obviously was the drama that we talked a lot about last year, in how she treated her staff, and it seems like she's trying to make amends for that in her final season. They're preparing for their final episodes, which will feature Michelle Obama, Channing Tatum, Serena Williams, Gwen Stefani, and David Letterman. So they're really bringing out the big guns. But Ellen DeGeneres is putting up $3 million to give all of her staff bonuses based on their tenure there. They just announced that they're extending health insurance for all of their employees for an additional 6 months after the show ends, and also helping with resume building, because so many of their employees have worked there. I think the statistic was 60% of their employees have worked there for longer than 10 years. So it's been a while since they've written a resume.
But also, never mind.
Oh.
I was going to say, if it was such a horrible place to work, how come they all stayed there so long? Plus, $3 million can buy a lot of bubblegum outside of your office door, which is what she was accused of making people do, chew gum before they went in to talk to her. Team Ellen.
I know. I mean, Jonathan, Andrew, Mark, Ethan all know here, like, I walk through the door at 8:10 and I'm like, don't talk to me.
Until you chew some gum.
It's mostly because I'm thoroughly behind. We talked about this last week. Jussie Smollett got sentenced to 150 days in prison, 30 months of probation, and also $130,000 to be paid to the city of Chicago. But there's more news than that. After serving simply 6 days in confinement in prison, he was released because of their pending appeal. Basically, three appeals judge looked at the case and said that they were like, oh, you have some pretty good evidence, and due to the fact that basically the appeal is going to take so long that by the time they were to appeal his sentence will be over, they basically pulled him out of prison.
Do you think he'll go back?
Most legal experts are saying that he won't go back. It's like one of those things that, like, he's out, like, to put him because it's even though the severity of what he did in a lot of people's minds is pretty severe, when it comes to the law, it's a pretty minor offense. Right. Sure.
And also, it's already cost him his career.
Yeah, and you also compare that to, like, people who have murdered people and done much worse things than he did, and they're getting less time, if any. Like, it's complicated, the justice system.
Innocent until proven guilty.
Which he was.
Yeah.
On 5 counts.
Oh, he was?
Yeah.
Oh.
That's why he got sentenced.
Why are they letting him out?
That's why he got sentenced. But especially when you're a celebrity, like, you typically don't serve your full sentence anyway.
No.
Like, Lindsay Lohan served like 4 days of hers, and like, Lori Loughlin's got to be out, right?
I think she's still in.
Yeah.
Really?
Huh.
Felicity Huffman never went to jail, though, right?
No, I don't know.
I don't think so. No.
We talked about him a lot this past June. Carl Nassib, he's the professional football player who came out this past June in an Instagram video where he also announced that he was going to be donating $100,000 to the Trevor Project. Unfortunately, he got let go from his team. And that might seem like a trend in athletes coming out and then kind of being let go from their teams, because that's happened in the past. But the organization, he was in the... They're not the Oakland Raiders anymore. They're the something else Raiders. Or no, they are the Oakland Raiders. What are they?
We know a lot about sports here on Wake Up.
I'm about to use a lot of sports stuff, like
Go!
Defensive snaps. Yeah. So he got let go of his team base. Basically, the organization said that basically he was too expensive for what he was contributing to the team. His base salary was $7.75 million, and he only last season played in 242 defensive snaps, which is not a lot of snaps. And he only had 1.5 sacks. Now, I know what a sack is.
I only have 1. 1.5 sounds like a lot.
I don't know how you do half a sack. Anyone?
Yes.
Andrew?
When there's more than one person involved.
Oh, if it's like 2 people sacking, you get a half credit. Makes sense. But experts right, exactly. 2 guys, 1.5 sacks.
Oh boy.
But legal experts say it is, I mean, not legal experts. Experts say it's likely that he will get signed to a different team because he is a really great player, but not as expensive a contract.
Can we talk about football for like 2 more seconds?
Oh, of course. I love it. It's my favorite subject.
Didn't Tom Brady unretire while I was
He
gone?
did. He's doing another Cher farewell tour.
Why? What happened?
I don't know.
Somebody told me, I don't know if this is true or not, that Aaron Rodgers got like the biggest quarterback deal ever. So Tom Brady was like, what? No, then I'm not retired.
Oh.
I still play.
Someone tweeted that Giselle took him to Whole Foods with their kids, and he was like, fuck this, I'm out. I'm going back to play football.
He saw how much gas was going up.
Yeah. He went to Whole Foods on a Sunday and was like, not for me. Other sports news, we talked about this last week. Brittany Griner, who's the professional women's basketball player who was arrested in Russia on drug charges. For the first time, she's been missing. She was missing for a few weeks before we even knew where she was. And now the second images of her, there was the only images that we had seen before was her mugshot. But they released a short video of her kind of walking to a like a chat, well, like a law chat.
A law chat?
Yeah, where she has to like go and like talk about what's going on. I can't think of the word, but they actually, she's being detained, and they actually extended her detainment until at least May 18th.
Oh wow.
Yeah, she's facing up to 10 years in Russian prison. Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah.
For a hash vape cartridge.
Yeah, basically. I know if you're traveling, it's like American privilege to think that you like won't get in trouble for thousands of things, but in the rest of the world, they view things differently, specifically marijuana. So I know we think of it as like this trivial thing at this point where you can like throw it in your luggage in your suitcase, but not when you're flying out of the country, and honestly not if you're traveling to two states that have stricter marijuana laws.
Did we learn nothing when that boy got caned in Singapore for spitting gum onto the street?
What?
Wasn't it gum? Do you remember that? Like this was like in the 90s. There was this like, white college kid from America in Singapore, and like, you're not allowed to chew gum. I'm getting probably some of the details of this story wrong, but like we were all up in arms when they were like, we're going to cane him because that's what we do to people that spit gum on the ground. And we're like, what? But he's American.
He's allowed to do whatever he wants.
So is she. She's a basketball player. I mean, just leave your drugs at home.
Yeah.
Sorry, she doesn't deserve 10 years in Russian prison, but like leave your drugs at home.
Right. Obviously it is a very the landscape of what's going on between Russia, the Ukraine, and the entire world. I think this is going to complicate what's going on with her.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think she's going to be used as kind of like, I hope,
A pawn in Putin's game.
Exactly.
Like she's a bargaining chip for these cretins.
which isn't great.
No.
Yeah.
One more sports thing though. So
This is the most sports-heavy show we've ever had.
This is related to Russia. So there's a bunch of Russian players, there's a bunch of Ukrainian players at this tennis tournament that I was just at in Palm Spring. And one of the top players in the world is a young woman from Ukraine, and she refuses to play against Russian players. She's trying to get the federation to prevent them from playing under their own flag. And so now, I went to a couple of matches where there was a Russian player playing under like a blank flag.
Interesting.
So you've got all these Russian guys out here, where they would normally sign their name on the camera in Sharpie. They're writing peace, no war, it's easy to forget that there's a tremendous amount of people in Russia that are against this war. Just like when we have somebody running the country that we think or is making poor choices, there's about 50% of the country that doesn't agree with that. And so, there's a lot of people over there that don't want this to be happening at all.
Right.
And it's really interesting to watch that play out in the sports world. So that was just really fascinating to me.
No, I get that. There's a dog adoption event tomorrow that's going to be really cute.
Today.
Oh,
Is this related to the black dog?
I think it's Saturday.
Oh, sorry, my bad.
Yeah. Yeah, March 19th, tomorrow. Tomorrow, 12 to 4 at the Black Dog in Provincetown, there is an adoption event. It is to support Safe With Us, which is an organization that adopts pets. But also, if you don't even want a dog, stop into the Black Dog and see if there's anything you want to purchase, because also 20% of the sales that are happening tomorrow will be going to that same charity. So, yeah. Are you going to get a dog?
Not right now.
No.
No.
Would Peter consider it?
Oh, absolutely. We talk about getting a dog all the time. But also, there's this sentiment in our household, at least, of if we didn't do it in the last 2 years when we were stuck at home, we missed the boat. The window is closed.
All those dogs have anxiety issues now.
Oh, because now people are going back.
People are leaving and they're like, we don't do that.
Yeah, you live here. Where are you going?
Right, exactly.
No. But that would have been the time to do it, right? During the pandemic when you had all the extra time.
Yeah, to like train and blah, blah, blah. Speaking of dogs, we talked about it this past summer. The brewski drawing that the Provincetown Brewing Company uses for a lot of their merch was on the wall one day, and then it wasn't. There was a nationwide search for it, global, you might say. And a few weeks ago, there was a call to the Provincetown Brewing Company from the people that had it. And they said that they were here, they were admiring the image, and a bartender said, "Oh, it's $50. Just give me $50 and you can take it."
Was that you?
No.
Were you working here when that happened?
No. I mean, I was working here when it went missing.
You were an employee of this business.
Yeah. I don't quite believe that story. I don't think any bartender would. I guess maybe someone could have pretended that they work here and sold it to them.
Right.
But it was returned this past weekend.
Is there a picture of it?
Yeah, I think we have a couple pictures up now.
Oh, it's there?
They returned it. I don't think it's back up on the wall quite yet, but the missing poster is down. We're happy to have Brewski back and safe.
So those people came and saw the missing poster and were like, "Oh shit, that's hanging in our bathroom right now."
Maybe, yeah.
Right? Like they saw that there was there a reward? Did they get anything for bringing it back?
I think they came in to return it. They
got their money back.
They dined, and I think we gave them that much money towards their bill while they were dining here.
Generous.
Yeah, that's really sweet.
That's not like the first missing art story from a restaurant, like in recent memory.
No,
People get
it happens at the Red
drunk,
Inn all the
It happens
time.
at the Red Inn all the time. People snatch something off the wall,
And then it like shows up.
and then it just appears in a UPS box. Once
Mm-hmm.
they get home and they wake up hungover, like, what is that doing in here? Oh shit, we stole that from that restaurant.
Right.
Stop stealing art from restaurant people.
Right. I mean, St. Patrick's Day is a big day for art theft.
Is it?
Yeah, that's when the Mary Stuart Gardner Museum got.
That was on St. Patrick's
Yeah.
Day? OMG.
They clearly planned that well because Boston pretty much shuts down for St. Patrick's Day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I was surprised at how few cop cars there were on my way back from Boston last night. I mean, it was pretty late, but I was like, it is St. Patrick's Day.
Oh,
I thought
right.
they'd be like out. Somebody did tail me from Orleans to Truro, like
Interesting.
really, really close behind me.
How fast were you driving?
45 in a 45. No, but like I would slow down whenever there was a dotted line so they could pass me and they wouldn't.
Oh,
And so it was for like 45 minutes.
Oh, that's annoying.
It was really, really uncomfortable.
I was driving home from the movies with a few friends in the back, and it was like kind of a big crew that went to the movies. Were you there when we all saw West Side Story?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it was a big crew. We're all driving back to Provincetown, and like I think one of our friends was behind us and kind of like close to me, and all my friends in the car were like, "It's because you're driving slow," and I'm like, "I'm driving the speed limit," and in that moment, I fully realized that I had become my father. And another example of how I'm fully becoming my parents.
Can't go out 3 nights in a row.
Ew.
Drives the speed limit.
Yeah,
That's good. That's good.
Yeah. Also, this week I went out for a jog and like tucked a folded up paper towel into the waistband of my pants. Also, a Tracy Fish move.
While you were running?
Yeah.
For what?
Because while you're running, you like sweat or you like need to blow your nose.
It
or-
doesn't just get really wet by touching you that whole time?
I'm not a sweaty person.
Huh.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah. Tonight there are drag race viewings here at the brewery and also at Pilgrim House. Here it's with Mackenzie and Austin, and at the Pilgrim House it is with Trampolina. Both of them are a good time.
How's it going? Is your favorite still in the competition?
Yeah. Tonight actually is an episode a style of episode they've never done before. So basically last week was Snatch Game, and it went so poorly that they had one girl who did pretty well who they made the winner, and everyone else was like up for elimination, and basically they didn't eliminate anyone, and tonight's episode is going to be fully a lip sync smackdown.
Of all of the people that were up for elimination?
Yeah.
Well, that's fun.
It was one of those things where everyone kind of did decent impressions, but no one was funny. Like, yeah, I see what you're doing, you're being them, but like, where are the jokes?
I mean, where did Snatch Game get its great It's almost always a bad episode.
No.
I think so.
I think
I think it's fun for the contestants, and then maybe 1 or 2 people does really well every
Yeah.
time. And otherwise, I'm watching it going,
as drag has changed due to RuPaul's Drag Race over time, I think the style of drag that is rewarded through the show and also on Instagram and at clubs and stuff, it doesn't It's no longer those like campy, funny queens that are being really celebrated. It's kind of people who are very committed to their aesthetic, and I feel like it's not translating.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but otherwise the season's been great. Everyone's really good, especially after the UK versus the World Snatch game, which was so great. I need you to watch it because it's like all celebrities you love.
Oh, okay.
Mariah, Billy Porter, Austin Powers.
Austin Powers?
Yeah, and Annie from.
From Annie?
No,
From Annie Get Your Gun?
no.
From, what other famous...
The movie where she like hobbles the guy.
Oh, Annie Wilkes from Misery?
Yeah,
How
someone
could
does
I
it.
forget Annie Wilkes from Misery?
Exactly, the Annie.
Kathy Bates.
Yeah, she plays Kathy Bates, and it was really good. So to see the U.S. version fail so much was kind of a bummer. But I'm excited for tonight's episode.
You know what? It's going to take me too long to find this, but I think there's something happening Sunday. Austin Tyler
Something.
or somebody just tagged me in something. It's in order to prepare yourself for the April 4th town meeting.
Oh yeah.
So in addition to the interview that we're about to do today with everybody, there are ways to get up to speed. During the video of Joshua Tree, I'll find the post and I'll give you guys details. But it's time to, if you're living here and you're a voter, it's time to like get up to speed on everything that we're going to be voting on.
Yeah, I was looking at the, it's called The Warrant, right? The Town Warrant, and was looking at the articles, and then they had like an explanation, and I was like, I need an explanation of the explanation.
Yeah.
But
There's a lot of jargon.
yeah. Do you want to do your video now?
Yeah, so one of the perks of going to Palm Springs for a vacation is that it's really, really close to Joshua Tree National Park, which is a beautiful place to just get some sun and also watch the sun set. So this is 2 minutes in Joshua Tree. Go to Joshua Tree if you can, you guys. It's so beautiful there. I love it.
Now we're going to talk a little bit about the upcoming town meeting and specifically in regards to the police station project. We have Jeff, Sheila, and also Alex Morse coming in to talk about it. Welcome, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us.
Y'all.
So this has been a lengthy process. I don't know how long you guys have been on the building committee, but
Since its inception,
so
Over
how's
10 years.
How's it going?
I think this year's been fabulous. Alex got us together again and we started to reconsider everything, went over all that we'd done in the past and came forward with a design and a second exterior design and presented that to the community and got their okay or the vast majority of people okaying the first design to go forward with. So that's where we are now.
And for people that maybe don't know, can you just give us an idea of how long this process has been, how long you've been I mean, how many times have we voted on this?
Oh, several times. Okay. And 2009 was when the initial needs assessment was done. And so it's been going forward since then. There was a design originally in 2012, I believe, that didn't pass at all. And then 2017, we got the location and the initial funding. And then 2019, it came up again for supplemental funding, and that did not pass. And here we are again in 2022.
So there was a debt exclusion in 2019 that didn't pass, and now we're doing even a larger debt exclusion this year.
It is.
What are the issues for people What are the issues for people voting no, you think?
Why are people saying no?
Yeah, so I'll chime in, and I first want to thank Sheila and Jeff for their leadership on the committee. And Sheila's been on the committee for many, many years, and a unique story too, because over a decade ago, initially opposed to the project, but after learning more and getting involved and rolling up their sleeves, you really get to know firsthand the critical need of this station in Provincetown. So we need an additional $8.5 million in supplemental funding, and so that's the article before the voters on April 4th. And when I got here a year ago, the select board in the town had made this a priority for my first year, and I knew the town needed a police station, but now having worked here for just about a year and seeing the police station, the impact that it's had on our inability to retain employees, it's a dangerous workplace, literally floods, sewage. It's been in a formal funeral home since 1984, and for this, it's really important for folks to recognize the importance of this and how it's not just about the police station, it's about unlocking other pieces of the puzzle. And so with a new police station being constructed, it allows us to redevelop the current site of the police station into more housing, affordable housing, community housing, be it worker housing. It allows us to do that. But when I got here, I discovered that our inability to move this project forward has really created a lot of inertia for housing projects, for other critical infrastructure needs. And frankly, the longer we wait, the more expensive it gets. And when I looked at the data that our cost per square foot was comparable to other communities, when we have nearly the highest in-season population of any Cape community, we need a facility that's going to meet the needs of our people, of the people that visit us in our community. So I think that's the plan that we are putting before the voters. And to Sheila's point, we went back to people and asked, we listened to some of the concerns, feedback, created a new design, put it out to people here in the community, and over 1,000 people voted, and nearly 80%, 85% voted in favor of the original design. So that's where we are today, and we want to get our message out and answer as many questions as possible.
I feel like a lot of people feel there's a sentiment where it's like the police station or housing.
Yeah.
Why do you think people feel that way? And
Why can't we chew gum and walk at the same
Yeah,
time?
exactly. And we were talking about that this morning, and I think that's the most important message. This town meeting, the two most important issues at town meeting this year are housing and the police station. The police station is one article, yet our housing councils, the Year-Round Market Rate Rental Housing Trust, Community Housing Council, Select Board came together over the last few months, and we're presenting a slate of 10 housing articles. We are now making progress on what is probably the largest housing project in this town in 10 years, 65 units of year-round rental housing at the former VFW. And that was a site when I arrived that was sort of in waiting to see what happened with the police station, yet we've taken action on that. In addition, we have a proposal to reallocate the rooms tax to have a steady stream of funding for the first time from that revenue to go towards housing, and it would be the largest share going towards housing. So again, this isn't police station versus housing. We're now going to have millions of dollars every year in the years after, based on the town meeting article, to fund housing efforts. And again, the police station is one piece of a puzzle of a lot of efforts that we're undergoing.
How close was the vote at that last town meeting over the additional funds?
There were 8 votes. We were short.
8
votes. Yep.
I remember like an audible gasp. I was like, so, I mean, we're like basically there. And I feel like there's a lot of people that are going to say no matter what. Like people that have it stuck in their craw that the VFW was supposed to be something. But there are certain things that are settled for good. The VFW site is going to be housing. Yep. The location for the police station is going to be the location for the police station, right?
Yeah, and it's important to remind folks that these are town meeting votes that occurred. There was a vote to locate the police station at this site. There are plans downstairs in community development at Town Hall that have our police station at the Jerome Smith site. And so I think now that we've made progress on the former VFW site, we're making progress on the police station. We're in the middle of a needs facility analysis for a fire department. we're moving forward on a number of different things. And I think a few years ago, there were some folks against it, based on the vegetation and trees, some around police in general, the location, the financing scheme that the administration was proposing at the time. But I will say this year, town staff, the select board unanimously, we're all behind this project. We realize the need, and for us, if this is successful, we can get it done and really focus our efforts on the biggest crisis facing us right now, and that is housing. And I think voters will find at town meeting that we're very sincere and genuine in the 10 housing articles that we have before them.
What is it going to cost now, the police station?
It's at 16.6 million. Excuse me, we already have approved 8.6 million from a previous article. And I kind of wanted to put that cost into a little bit of context. In December in Dennis, just up the Cape, they approved $14.6 million for a 14,400 square foot fire department facility that included housing and 3 bays for their apparatus. That doesn't include the police specialized, spaces like the detention area and the technology and the communication systems and whatnot. So for our 13,864 square foot proposed building at 16.6 compared to the one that was recently approved in Dennis for a fire station at 14.6, it seems reasonable.
And I remember thinking when the price went up the first time, part of the reason it seemed like a lot of people were voting no was that there wasn't a whole lot of explanation of why it was going up other than inflation or prices go up or X, Y, and Z. So how do we convince people? I mean, I think we're all seeing now in real time what inflation does to people's lives. And so how do we get people to not only understand it but accept it and say yes?
Well, I could add to that, and that is, first of all, the 16.6 million is total project cost, which includes not only the building construction, but all the technology that's needed to run the department, the furniture, everything that's built into the building that supports the police station from a communication standpoint. So that's I think an important piece, as well as the other soft costs like the design and the engineering and the project manager. And now I forgot what the first part of that question was.
You're just gonna. The bottom line is convincing people who
Yeah.
have said no before to say yes, and to make
Yeah.
them realize, why. It seemed like there's a faction of people and a type of person, not just here but everywhere, that if you come out and you say something like, look, it's only going to get more expensive.
Yeah.
We have to say yes. And there were people that felt like the yes thing was being crammed down their throat, and saying no just for the sake of being like, I'm allowed to say no, and you're not allowed to cram this down my throat.
Yeah.
How do we get people over that hurdle?
Well, the cost is, it is what it is, and it's based on the professional estimates. We've been through an extraordinary time of inflation in construction costs since COVID began. Right. So we're looking at 20-30% there. What we foresee in the future is the continuation of that escalation of costs. Right. It's not going to come down. So if we don't pass it, we'll be back next year for 20 million or something. It just gets worse and worse.
And the need isn't going to go away at all. I think we have some images of the current police station, and I think looking at those images, you're like, there isn't going to be a time where anyone throws up their hands and goes like, I guess we won't have a new police station.
We'll just work like this.
It's one of those things that it's going to happen, and the longer we wait, like you said, it's going to cost more money.
Yeah, and I would just say we get the question sometimes, well, the original authorization, 8.625, why can't we just build a police station for that amount of money?
So long ago.
We can't build a police station that Provincetown needs and wants with the 8.625. And years ago there was a faulty estimate with a designer. The town has now a new design company, more accurate estimates, and inflation has caused an increase since the 2019 vote. I would encourage people to go to our new website, newpolicestation.com. You talked about the cost. It would add an additional $29 per year per $100,000 valuation for property owners over the next 20 years. And that will fall off as we get closer to the 20 years, and then at 20 years that cost would then be gone from your tax bill. So we recognize the cost, but we also have to talk about the cost of doing nothing and the impact that has on the town, our visitors, our tourism economy, our housing efforts, and I think it's time we come together and get this done for everyone.
I also read that there's a potential for grants that might lessen the burden on taxpayers.
Yeah, so I mean, one of the things that town staff does all the time when we go to town meeting, whether it's CIPs, any debt exclusion, to qualify for any grant funding, you essentially need full funding first and foremost from local approval, local funding. And so if we go and apply for grant funding from state or federal government, we need to show that we have full funding first and foremost. You can't just have half the funding and apply for grants. And so with this authorization, we'll be able to aggressively pursue grants with the hope that we'd be able to decrease and mitigate the tax impact on people here.
That sounds good to me.
Right. Also, I read in the plan to the people who are kind of worried about the trees on the property, there is a plan within the landscaping to put trees in.
50 new trees,
Great.
50 shrubs, and 2,300 ground cover plants. So it's going to be, and it's all drought tolerant, native species that will do well on that site. Yes,
Yeah.
we
And
have
to
to
that-
remove
yeah.
trees, but
And to that point, we had the chair of the Open Space Committee, Dennis Minsky, at our select board meeting Monday night, who said publicly he's now pretty much supporting the police station because he recognizes the need, despite the concern for the trees and that there'll be more trees after than there are now. And one last thing on the space, and credit to the building committee, they eliminated 3,000 square feet from the original design. And so if people ask, like, this is the Taj Mahal or some fancy building in town, everything that is completely unnecessary has been eliminated, and every square foot in that building has been intentional in the design to bring the cost down as much as possible.
I think that's what people wanted to hear,
I also say, like, for me, my biggest issue and the thing I care about the most is housing, but I also think moving the police station forward and not putting it behind us, but having a plan and having it done is one of the best things for housing, because it'll allow so many people to focus more on that and kind of get rid of this argument and this debate of police station or housing.
Yeah, and that's why it's so important and I think critical that we bring both these issues to town meeting this year. And like I said, we have 10 specific articles just on housing, from reallocating the rooms tax to purchasing a property on Bradford Street to develop more year-round community and affordable housing, to hiring development consultants to look at the VMCC, Route 6, 30 Creek Road, Firehouse Number 2 for housing for folks here in town, to implement a community impact fee on professionally managed Airbnbs to go towards the housing fund, to amend our inclusionary zoning law to allow four stories by right for affordable housing in our general commercial zone. And so we've worked incredibly hard over the last few months to prioritize housing. And again, it's not a housing versus police station. We can afford to do both. We value both. And again, moving the police station forward will allow us some of the breathing room and investment and resources to continue aggressively pursuing our housing agenda.
Can you tell everybody what time the meeting is on April 4th? Where are we going? What are we voting on?
April 4th, town meeting upstairs in the auditorium at Town Hall at 6 o'clock. And I know the PTA will be downstairs selling soup and baked goods. So a great opportunity to get out, come to town meeting, join your fellow residents. I will encourage people this coming Monday at 5 o'clock. We have a town meeting forum where you can, we'll go through the warrant, you can ask questions. The building committee will be there as well to speak specifically to the police station. And I would also encourage, if you go to the website, newpolicestation.com, we have a calendar of events. We also have an open house at the police station, the current site, so you can walk through, see the building yourself.
Step and shit.
And basically, yeah, if it rains the night before, the morning of, you may want to skip the visit, but it may actually be good to see it. Yeah, exactly.
You guys, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks so
this
much.
is one of the most important things that we're all facing, and it's very important for everybody to hear all this. Thank you.
Great. Thank you.
Thanks for
both.
having
We're going to
us.
have you on again soon to talk about your first year as town
Yes,
manager.
I know, it flew by.
It did.
Yeah, excited to talk about
Thumbs
it.
up.
We're
Yeah.
gonna do one of those images with the president where they put like
How much I've aged in a year.
Those
Yeah.
hairs weren't white the last time.
Yeah, I don't think they were, honestly. Yeah, I had more hair a year ago anyway.
It's really good to see you.
thank you all so much.
Thank you.
In other news that we have, one of our good friends, we've been talking about it so much because we love him so much, but our friend Murray Bartlett actually won the Critics' Choice Award. I found out from Bob, I wasn't watching the telecast, but he made sure to inform us as soon as it happened. Congratulations. I watched a clip of his acceptance speech. It was so cute. He thanked so many people. He also thanked Ahmed, and he got a little bit of screen time. You didn't see it.
No, I was at the tennis tournament.
Yeah, no, he thanked Ahmed and also obviously Matt, but they got away to Ahmed, who was, I think, his guest. And you said Ahmed got a really fun selfie.
He got a selfie with Venus Williams.
I'm so excited. Of
Wow.
course, that was the picture that
Jealous.
he sent me because he knew that I was at a tennis tournament in Palm Springs. He's like, well, I'm hanging out with Venus Williams in Los Angeles right now. I'm like, of course you are.
Right. You're like, okay.
The previous award show, he was sitting at a table with Jeff Goldblum and Denzel Washington.
Meeting all your faves.
I know. Congratulations,
that.
Marie. We're so happy for you. Did you show them that picture of him looking all dapper in his
Yeah.
tux?
I mean, hopefully that was covering me while I put my microphone on.
I'm so happy for them.
Yeah, congrats, Murray.
Please welcome to the show Mr. John Richardson and Mr. David Drake.
Yay, hi guys.
Hi guys, how are you?
We just magically appear.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And now we're here.
Don't tell anyone how the magic happens.
No,
We won't.
no,
My lips are
it's a
sealed.
secret.
Yeah, well, congratulations to you both. Your upcoming performance this weekend and also on your upcoming season.
Yeah, we haven't announced yet. We will next
Okay.
week, but
I
there'll
tr-
be 5 shows this year.
I looked at the briefs for your auditions and I was trying to figure it out, but I had trouble.
Well, the problem with that one is that there's 2 world premieres in there, so you wouldn't know the plays.
Gotcha.
And
So that's why I couldn't.
Yeah, yeah.
When are you holding auditions?
This weekend, we're holding auditions on Sunday from 1 to 6 and Monday from 6 to 9. And they're paid positions.
And those are equity and non-equity?
Equity and non-equity. I'm getting we'll see how it works out, how it puzzles out.
Great.
Because, the housing people left. Because finding housing for artists from out of town is very challenging. Of course.
Totally, yeah.
But yeah, please come. They're paid positions. They're great shows.
Ages?
Ages from the 20s all the way to the early 40s for men, women.
Gay.
Anywhere in the 30s or 40s. It could go either way.
Excellent.
Yeah.
It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And thank you again for an excellent 24-hour play festival last
Oh,
weekend.
it was great. Thank you. We're all thanking each other. This is all part of a. Yeah. Bob wrote this brilliant little play. I love that play.
Thank you.
So good. It was so good this year.
It turned out really well.
Yeah. It was a great community event and entertaining too. And we streamed as well. We're going to start streaming our productions this year.
Killer.
One performance for each show.
Moving back inside?
We're all back inside this year. Yeah. Everything's in the box. Only we're changing the configuration for each show, so you'll see it's going to have a whole different look and world. It's going to be cool. It's going to be
What's the
fun.
configuration for tomorrow's show?
Yes, it's proscenium.
Yeah. We're.
And
I
John
actually haven't
Richardson
seen
center
it.
stage.
Yeah, that's right. No, I'm just at the. I just sit at the piano. You have a whole kind of. David has worked out an entire kind of setup for it that I'm excited about. This is something I know very little about, and David knows everything about this a musical development. So I just show up, and that's very nice.
Well, I want to start at the beginning. What inspired you to want to write a musical based on Provincetown? What was that process like?
Yeah, well, it was really fun. I mean, I moved to Provincetown in 2017. Oh yeah.
We lost it.
So go back to the. How did you come up with this musical?
So what inspired you to start that musical?
Take us back to the beginning of the gestation.
It's all good. So I mentioned that I'd moved to Provincetown many years ago, 2017, and I worked in piano bars, and so I wanted to write a musical about piano bars, basically, because it's easy to make people sing. Like I could write versions of like Sweet Caroline, but not Sweet Caroline, I guess.
Right.
Thank God.
And so basically what's happened is working with David very closely, we've written something that's tomorrow will be really a song cycle. So it's not going to have a script. It won't have a very detailed plot to go through, but we're going to present 10 songs, and we have 11 actors who are going to perform those songs, and it's just going to give folks a chance to kind of hear what we have so far.
Yeah.
You have another really important collaborator on this project as well.
Yeah, so David obviously is brilliant in every way and has just been, actually it's fun. As I was
So that's my boyfriend.
That's right.
In every way.
Yeah. Well, I was going last summer. I mean, I've been telling people that I've been working on the show for so long. And eventually, about a little over a year ago, I got connected to Tony Stragus, who is a set designer, and he was fortunate enough to work with Stephen Sondheim in the 80s. He did Sunday in the Park with George and Into the Woods. He's done 15 Broadway musicals, Broadway shows, the sets for those. And he was a big believer in the project, like early on. And so he even designed an entire set for this that's based at the Provincetown Theater. He pulled the blueprints of the Provincetown Theater and was like,
Wow.
Now you have a set.
Hand.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, exactly. So that was wonderful. But then as I continued to work on it, everyone who I told about this project was like, you have to get to David Drake. And Tony Stragus, the set designer himself, was like, we have to sit down with David Drake. He's the one who can kind of bring this forward. And as soon as that happened, as soon as we started working seriously on it, it just became a very kind of serious venture. I was like, now I have to write something good. Now that these smart people are
Pressure is
attached to
on.
it. Yeah.
Well, using Johnstown as a songwriter, that's the way we've been finding that there's in Merrily We Roll Along, which comes first, the music or the lyrics, kind of an idea, and people do have those questions. Does the book come first and then you apply the music? How does this work? With an original musical that is not based on another story, which most musicals actually are, including Oklahoma, The King and I, all the great classics are actually based on other material, and then so the shape of the narrative is in place. Mm-hmm. And from there you shape it, and then you see where does it sing? We've been working the opposite way, mm-hmm. which is who are the characters? What do they sound like? What do they sing? And John's gift, one of many, is that he's a great songwriter. So he finds a way in through a song, and from there it actually has been expanding what we think the narratives may be. Sometimes the hints are in the song themselves, other times it's more of a tonal thing. And the show, we've discovered, has a kind of talking about piano bars and performative aspects of it, like Cabaret or Le Cage à Faux, which has an onstage version and an offstage version. So you have, people love shows within shows, and using the show within the show to shed light on the other story. So we've been using that too, because Provincetown has a long history of that. And so we have this internal play within the play that they're doing at the Jack of Hearts Club. It all takes place in this club, or the central story takes place in the club, I should say, the characters, that's how they cross roads. But it's been a really interesting process for me, because I don't usually work that way. I usually work from, here's the script, here's the scene, here's the script, here's the scene. And we have done those, John and I.
Yeah.
But we're just not going to present any of that yet, because we're not, I don't think, we're just not there.
No, exactly. We have a strong sense of the songs and the way that these characters work. And David and I, for instance, I would sit down with him at the theater, and we would come up with an idea for where we found ourselves in the plot at that point. And David would say, well, now this character needs to sing a song that sounds like whatever Lola wants Lola get. We would reference a few different songs, and David might say, next week come with 3 different options for what this song might be.
Especially when you're talking about the queer community of 1963.
Yeah, because it's set in the past, in the early 60s.
Those people, they listen to the top 40 in 63 is a different world than the top 40 of, let's say, 65.
Right. Totally.
The 60s are crazy. Every year is like a different encyclopedic chapter of music. Music is, the 60s are the 20th century's contribution to music to me. In a major way. So when we were at that place, their backstory would be, they would be listening to Broadway show tunes. Yeah. We Kiss in the Shadows and things like things with code in them for queer people, and that still hold today. So that's how they would interpret something. So the show within the show is fun that way too, because a lot of queens are show queens. A lot of queers are show queens. Even the lesbians are show queens. How many? I know a bunch of show queens in this town.
Yeah.
You're watching right now. I know you are.
Aaron Nash.
So- I can name names. I run the theater, so that's been really interesting for us to go like, well, they would know We Kiss in the Shadows from The King and I, and it would have the meaning for them, or We're Thine That Special Face, or Cole Porter would still be around. I mean, it's just, there's a whole different vocabulary that they live in.
Yeah, and fortunately, like, I am obsessed. Both of us really love the kind of golden age of Broadway, so like, they would have been listening to Bye Bye Birdie and Music Man and Gypsy, and so our show within the show that we've built, it's set in the show in general is set in the early 60s in Provincetown at a club, like a nightclub. And then they perform a show every night at that club called The Happy Homosexual. We've kind of made up, it's a silly little kind of cabaret show that they do. And so there are musical numbers that are kind of like set piece numbers that they do every night at the club ostensibly. Like Kaya Crystal comes out and her character always does this big 11 o'clock number that brings the house down every night.
Whether it fits in the plot of the show or not.
Exactly.
It's like one of those, yeah.
So that's kind of, so there are some numbers that are like, they're performing for the people there at the club. And then there are other numbers that are more traditional musical numbers in which the characters are like, here's how I feel, like that.
Right, exactly. And they have similar sounds but different sounds. Again, for those things. That was why I mean listening to those old shows. But we used a lot, we really looked at Dames at Sea. We sort of sort of unpacked Dames at Sea, which is a satirical 30s musical.
Yeah.
And it was written in the late 60s. So the people who wrote it in the late 60s grew up in the 1930s. Right. So their love of nostalgia, their love of that era is baked in that play. So we took that concept of like, well, where are they baked in? So we have a Gilbert and Sullivan song. We have we play around with some forms, but then his characters off stage have this beautiful, wonderful, sort of luscious sound that they sing that is their lives, their inner lives. And so I'm excited about the sounds that we're creating and the arc of the songs. And from there, we'll see where we're at.
We'll have to write a script.
Yeah, well, there's pieces of them. We have story journeys.
Yeah.
For people, but
can you tell us a little more about the casting of the song cycle? Like you have Kaya.
Kaya, yes. We have Brittany Rolfs and Grace Carney are singing a beautiful love duet. We've written a duet for these two women. Then there's a love duet that Jonathan Hawkins is singing to Mr. Mike Sullivan. Mike Sullivan is singing.
I know it's all very dreamy.
Exactly right. Mike Sullivan is singing a big, like the kind of I Want number, this big
corner of the sky
type number, and we have Todd Alsop who came up from New York to sing for us tomorrow, and he's brilliant. Daniel Marandola is singing. Dan McGee and Peter Donnelly, who I work with in like a folk duo setting, I wrote them this silly little bar tune that they're doing a duet on. Like it'll be basically their kind of like silly fun number that they always do. Laura Capello, who's a brilliant actor that I got to know kind of through the theater because she's done a lot of plays with you. She is phenomenal, and they're all brilliant. I'm afraid I've missed a few, but the casting was really based on kind of who I could like see in some of these roles, and then especially for Kaya Crystal, I've been writing this song that she sings, I've been writing for her for like a year. Like it's been a very long process. She comes in, she sings what I have and interprets it brilliantly, and then I go back and rewrite, and then she comes back and tries. And just in the last few weeks, we've gotten this like, it's done, and I think I'm most excited for it. It's written just for Kaya Crystal.
Oh, it's a fabulous song.
Yeah.
I mean, it's amazing.
And our friend Joe is singing a song I wrote because he and I always make this joke about this Cole Porter song about daddies.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. So I wrote a song for Joe about singing how he wants a daddy who will treat him like he's been behaving badly. He has a whole little kind of thing.
Plucked from the headlines. This is a true life story. Do you have your ticket for tomorrow?
No. It's sold out.
It's sold out.
Yeah.
It's sold out, and I don't have literally a single. It's gone.
It's gone.
Gone.
There's
I'm
no-
very
It's
If you don't have
free,
one,
by the way.
It's free. Yeah.
This is part of, I've been developing new works here for the last 4 years since I got here, but COVID scattered a lot of that. But that's part of the 24 hours thing too, which is, but in this case, the Stephen Mindich Literary Project is the leg of our new play development program, and so our time with John has been really kind of sponsored by that. He doesn't get any money out of it, but shaping things so that we can do free presentations of works in progress. In fact, 2 of the plays I'm going to be producing that I'll talk about later on when I come back, right, is were developed in our winter play dates. So plays that you saw in development 3 years ago will actually be performed full production this year. Awesome. 2 of them. One's a local writer from Provincetown, about Provincetown, and you'll see.
I do want to thank you for all you do in terms of bringing new work and new talent.
We're trying.
to the stage.
This is the first year we're really having a lot of new work. In fact, everything we're doing is a premiere for at least Cape Cod, if not New England, and 2 world premieres.
Wow.
So it's all new work this year, which is really interesting for us to at the other end of COVID, to not return to well, let's just do the classics. You know what I mean? Let's just
lose the camera. We're about
the camera's going all over the place.
We're back. Yay, we're back.
We were having a party.
Yeah.
Little
While
technical
you were all
difficulties
gone.
there.
He actually told us all the shows he's doing.
That's right. You missed it. He did the whole season.
Go to our website. Buy a season subscription. They're going to go on sale soon.
Well, thank you guys so much for getting up this morning and coming in to see us.
It was a pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks for having the show.
Woo! Yeah, I'm so excited.
Hearing about the station was great.
Yeah. It'll be good.
Totally.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So we'll see you guys at the online forum and tomorrow and on April 4th.
Yeah.
Bye, guys.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you all so much for watching today. We just wanted to quickly thank our sponsors, the Red Inn Cafe Heaven, Buell Cannabis, the Adam Howard Metal Workshop, Project Valor Sailing, Crown and Anchor, and the Provincetown Business Guild.
And viewers like yourself, thank you for waking up in Provincetown.
Wherever you are.